Thank you for your purchase. I am your ArcCorp Media Individual Entertainer, or Amy for short. The Palmetto Pirate. Originally written by Ralph Poole in 2808. Rights acquired by ArcCorp Media Company in 2952. Current sale price 7 credits.
Come, all you adventurers, as we tag along during the daring antics of our favorite suave rapscallion. Listen in as our ne'er-do-well baffles the local fuzz and pulls off dashing capers. Miscreant or scoundrel, no flatfoot can catch the genteel swashbuckler known as the Palmetto Pirate.
Captain DeRitter stood next to the open ramp door, watching the choreographed movement in front of him. The hangar was alive with activity. Workers, machines, and lifts scurried back and forth in a seamless dance motion, loading the cargo into the back of the orange cargo ship. Back and forth the workers moved, the captain's gaze darting to each worker, examining their proficiency and their intentions. Off to the side, the gruff voice of his first mate, Wade Mathis, could be heard over the steady rumble of the everyday hangar noise, verbally accosting the workers.
Put that where I told you. This'll be put exactly where I told y'all, where you'll do it again, bellowed the first mate.
The cargo, as a whole, was basically worthless individually, but together it was essential to keeping the mining stations on Walla operating. Machine parts, tools, food, toiletries, a whole hodgepodge of everyday life items. In the end, Captain DeRitter couldn't care less the contents of the boxes, just the paycheck amount. The hydrogen refueling had completed, and the refueling team had begun the task of removing and stowing the hoses back into the fuel pit under the right wing of the ship. A bulbous of a man turned from the refuel team and began his laborious walk toward the captain. He wore black faded coveralls that strained to contain the stomach behind the zipper. Clearly, these coveralls had seen many years of service, especially ones originally designed for a younger, smaller version of the man it now strained to contain. Everything about this man screamed foreman, from the coveralls, to the carrying of a data pad, up to the only small patch of dark hair left on the top of his head. Once he came within arm's distance, he thrust that same battered-up data pad toward the captain.
Service is finished. Cargo is almost done. Thumbprint here. The foreman avoided the captain's eyes and instead stared at the data pad. Waiting for acknowledgement, he stood now silent.
No sound of acknowledgement came from Captain DeRitter, not even a look toward the filthy sausage-shaped fingers wrapped around the data pad. Instead, the captain nonchalantly unfolded his arms and jammed his thumb onto the pad. A beep of acceptance chimed from the data pad, and the foreman turned and waddled off back towards his office, mumbling to himself. The ship hissed as the cargo door hydraulics initiated, raising the ramp. The first mate strolled over and stood next to the captain. Wade Mathis was a seasoned cargo ship crew member. He had been on every type of hauler out there, from a hull D all the way down to a small Titan. Captain DeRitter specifically recruited him a few years ago off a Drake Caterpillar. As first mate, he gets 2 shares off every run, and while they currently were only operating a Freelancer Max, there were plans on a future purchase of a Caterpillar, which meant Wade would soon take over the captaincy of the Freelancer. His shares would then go from 2 up to 4, but more important than that, he would finally be a captain.
Captain, cargo is secured. We are refueled, and all the appropriate bribes have been handed out to the ground crew. We are ready for pre-flight checks.
The first mate's wide-shoulder, muscular-armed look stood in stark contrast to the taller, trimmer figure of the captain. However, each and every muscle jutting out of that shirt had been earned through decades of hard work. Each scar a badge and a testament to the survival in a career field that eats people alive before they ever run out of prime years. Survival is not guaranteed in this life.
Start the walk around. I'll get the systems warmed up. I want her nose up in less than 20.
Wade nodded and turned to begin the task set to him. Crews have to be in tune with each other, able to anticipate the other's move without speaking. Captain DeRitter and Wade had been past that point for a long time now. The captain's order was more for formality than for instruction, and Wade knew that. The first mate walked off, starting his pre-flight checklist. Captain de Ritter unfolded his arms satisfied with the preparations. The noise and bustle of the hangar encompassed him like a warm embrace. Now was the time to make money and ensure the security of his growing company.
Join us next time as our suave captain prepares to set out into the black void and deliver the much-needed supplies to the desperate space station. What dangers lie in wait for our stalwart duo?